All right, so the walls are sprayed. Just doing a little bit of touch up here with a brush because this MDF, unfortunately, I don't like MDF that much, but it was the only thing I could get in a 1/2 inch thick. So it soaks up that paint. So I had to come back and kind of touch up the sides of these battens with a brush and then just sort of feather it out so you can't see the brush strokes. I had a pretty heavy little run right there that I had to cut off with a razor blade and sand, and then a little bit of a run right there that I had to sort of touch up and feather it out with a brush. Hopefully you can't see it. Just finished up the ceiling's still a little wet, but just finished up with the second coat of just flat white in between these on the ceiling. So the ceiling is done now. Just need to put the registers back in and then put up the new chandelier right there. And then we'll get ready to get started on the walls here in just a minute and do the wall color. We're not doing that color. My wife says that's too dark. That's the color that we did in the bathroom downstairs in the basement. So going with a lighter color called Krypton, Sherwin-Williams Krypton. It's like a lighter blue gray color than that one. I like that one better. It's warmer, but you know, whatever she wants is what we do. So gonna go with the Krypton, paint the walls here. Got a gallon, which should be plenty to do all this. I prefer Sherwin-Williams Super Paint for most projects. It's a good middle of the road paint. Covers really good. Very, very durable. You know, it's a good all around paint. If I'm spraying like cabinetry and stuff, I'll use something like a better product like an Emerald or Pro Classic or something like that if I'm spraying cabinetry. But I sprayed all this. This is a semi-gloss Sherwin-Williams and Alabaster semi-gloss interior. Sprayed all this with a 313 tip, which the first number in the spray tip is the half of the fan size. So it's basically a 6-inch fan. So 3 is half of 6. 6-inch fan and then the second two numbers are the orifice size, which is how much paint it lets out. So I used a 313 tip. I believe it was a 313 tip. Let's see here. Okay. That's a 515. That's what I sprayed primer with. So that would be a 10-inch fan with a 15 orifice size. Yeah, 313 is what I sprayed the trim with. It's a little bit finer of a paint, and then obviously not as wide of a fan. So when you're spraying trim, depending on like when I spray Pro Classic, which is a little bit thinner than Pro Classic is thinner than Super Paint. I use a 310 tip. It gives you a nice, really fine finish, and I use their fine finish tips. Actually, here's a 310 right here. 310 fine finish. They're green, the fine finish tips. So I spray that, and again, we had masked everything off. Like in my other video, I had that all masked off. Took all that down. The floor's masked off. Everything's masked off in here. So you can see overspray gets everywhere. It's also a good idea to have 2 pairs of shoes. These are my painting Crocs that I've had for ages. But when I spray, where there's radial tennis shoes, and then I have sort of a setup area that outside of the room, and I change shoes before I go walk in the rest of the house so that I don't get paint everywhere. So we're about to get started on the walls here, but here is the finished product here. I think it turned out quite nice. My wife is excited to get this place cleaned up and get it back together into a functioning room again. In case you haven't noticed, I make a mess whenever I do projects. I'm just a messy worker. I like to clean up one time at the end. Clean up once, minimize the amount of effort I have to make. Kind of a lazy person, so I try to minimize my effort as much as possible. So anyways, that's it.